Siblings escape home to visit mom's grave. They see stepmother crying there later. When Nate and Gina snuck out of the house to visit their beloved mom's grave one day, they didn't expect to meet Lucy, the woman who they feared would replace their mother crying there. Lucy had never expected to finally find someone at the age of 35, much less someone as sweet and sincere as Harry. It had been a year since Harry and his 2 children moved into the house on the other side of the street. In the first few days of them moving in, it became clear to Lucy that there was no woman in the house. After 2 back-to-back nights of the smoke alarm ringing and the smell of burnt food coming from their house, Lucy decided to finally offer a small gesture of help. A big bowl of chicken pot pie, a loaf of homemade bread, and cupcakes. "Please accept this, just a friendly hello from a concerned neighbor," Lucy said. "The smell was that bad, huh?" Harry joked. That's when they shared a laugh for the very first time, and that marked the beginning of their friendship and later a love that felt worthy of a lifetime. 6 months later, Lucy tied the knot with Harry and moved in with him, his 9-year-old son Nate, and his 13-year-old daughter Gina. And though Nate adored Lucy to bits and even called her mom sometimes, Gina couldn't stand the idea of her. She would throw tantrums around Lucy, trying to make her feel out of place and uninvited in her life. But one day when Harry decided to take a bold step, Gina completely lost control of her anger. "Kids, mom's made breakfast." This was the first time Harry had used the word mom for Lucy. Nate skipped towards the breakfast table like nothing new had happened, but Gina walked in screaming. "Dad, how dare you call her our mom? We had a mom, we loved her. You loved her, remember? And then yes, she died. It may have been 2 years ago, but she'll always be the only mom in all our lives. You can't just take that away from us." Gina pointed a finger scornfully at Lucy and spat out. "You think you're so great, you think Dad loves you. Well, let me make it clear to you. Doesn't matter how many breakfasts you make, no matter how many times you do my hair or help Nate with school, you'll never be our mom, ever." Saying this, Gina burst into tears and stormed out of the house to school, and Nate ran behind her. Lucy stood at the kitchen counter, shaking from the intensity of the anger she'd just felt. "I'm sorry, Lucy, it was my fault. I shouldn't have sprung the word on her, and I should have stopped her. I'll talk to—" "No, Harry, I know you mean well, but no, do not talk her into anything. Gina's allowed to feel the way she feels about me," Lucy told Harry. "The girl loved your mother, and this is just a sign of how much. Leave her be, honey, it'll get better." Over the next several weeks, Lucy continued to be there for the kids as always. There was no sign of bitterness or anger on her part, even after everything Gina said to her. If anything, Lucy was more caring and dutiful toward the kids than before. She woke up half an hour earlier than usual so that she could get breakfast ready. She made sure the children's things were neatly labeled and arranged so they wouldn't fight amongst themselves. Lucy also stood up to a neighboring kid who was teasing Gina for her new haircut. Despite all this, Gina was still rude to Lucy. In fact, there were many instances when Gina would convince her little brother and give Lucy the slip and sneak out to visit their late mother's grave. Lucy would be worried sick about the kids, but Gina would simply shrug it off. What the kids didn't know is that their stepmother had her own secret. It was past lunchtime on a Sunday afternoon, and Lucy's heart rate quickened as she made a decision on impulse. She checked on Harry and the kids who were napping in their bedrooms. "Here's my chance," Lucy thought as she changed her clothes, picked up her purse, and slowly snuck out of the house. What she didn't know was that while Harry was snoring, Gina and Nate had only been pretending to sleep. And while Lucy snuck out, the kids had their own secret plan too. It was a muddy road to the cemetery, but Nate and Gina braved the pebbles and slippery ground to get there. All along, Gina couldn't shake the questions ringing in her mind. Where was Lucy sneaking off to? Was she meeting someone? "I have to tell Dad after we get home," she decided. Gina and Nate took the last few steps on the empty road before Nate said, "Look, isn't that Lucy? And she's talking to Mom." Gina froze in shock. Nate was right. Lucy was kneeling and crying in front of their beloved mom's gravestone. The curious siblings wanted to eavesdrop on what their stepmom was saying. Avoiding twigs that would make noise as they snapped under their shoes, Gina and Nate walked up to the tree right behind Lucy. "Maria, they're incredible kids. I mean, Nate's such a heartthrob. His face and his sweet voice make me smile. He's doing much better at school now too, so quit worrying about it. But Gina…" Gina was startled to hear her name and leaned in to listen closer. "Gina's in so much pain, Maria. I hope you know how much she loves you. She's angry and Harry gets a bit concerned about it, but I recognize that anger. It's the only way she can express her love and sorrow right now. I know you'd worry about her too if you were here. You'd think, what's this Lucy woman gonna do for my kids when she's known them barely a year? I want you to know that I don't have all the answers right now, but I can't stop until I know your kids feel loved. I won't rest until they feel safe, comfortable, and capable of being happy without the guilt. I know it's your Harry who I fell in love with, but it's your kids who have stolen my heart. And I'll be there for them always. I'll love them with all my heart just like you would. I don't know why I felt like telling you this today, but there, I said it. If it's not too much to ask, send me a sign and I'll know things will be all right." At that moment, Gina and Nate ran to Lucy and hugged her tight. "I'm so sorry," Nate cried. "I'm sorry too. I've troubled you a lot without realizing how kind and loving you were really being. I'm sorry, Mom." Gina was surprised that the word came naturally to her. Back home, Harry was astonished to see them return for two reasons. One, he didn't realize they had all left, and two, that they were getting along so well. "Hello? I'm a part of this family too, remember?" Harry said, interrupting a funny conversation between Lucy and the kids, and getting sandwiched in their first ever full group hug.